Hello and a very warm welcome. I'm Rishabh Gulati. You're watching NewsX. And what you're about to experience over the next several hours of a live telecast is a revelation. I'm a product of a once great nation. And this great nation spent hundreds of years squeezed into cultural subservience, distilled in the minute intervention of Lord Macaulay that made me speak the language I'm speaking, that made me dress the way I'm dressed. A grandchild of partition from a family that left everything behind, the knock-on effect was that I was born and grew up in the national capital, as many other have who've come from refugee families from West Punjab. I grew up in privilege and therefore to a classical education. But I grew up a proud Indian. If you read the British history books on India, you'll come across this soldier's ditty, and I quote, "Land of shit and filth and pox, gonorrhea, syphilis, clap and pox, Mem Sahib's paradise, soldiers' hell, India fare thee effing well." That's what they were singing as they were boarding the ships to go back. Now, many years ago, I had the privilege of studying in the UK in England, and with a certain smugness, teaching the Brits not only our history, but also theirs. Now with grey hair sitting on this chair, with millions of you listening in India and across the world, let me quote you some Shakespeare. "The earth has music for those who listen." The notes of the music, ladies and gentlemen, are now resonating in the sitar strings from India. This is a country in motion, not just our GDP statistic, not our nukes and our Arihant class submarines. From the people of this historic land, our culture, our life, our self-worth. It's all on the rise. A critical mass is being achieved. You have to see it to believe it. And that's why we're here tonight, as we bring in a new year, as per another Romano-British imposition, the Georgian calendar. A new India. But when we talk of slogans, for NewsX, it's news, not noise. It's a slogan not just for clever semantics, but something I believe in, my team believes in. You won't see us shouting and screaming and making a monkey of ourselves. So goes the slogan, "Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas." Is that Narendra Modi's clever political coining, or does he really believe and live by what he says? Now, just like I can't function without my team who spent the past few days on the roads and villages of India, bringing you this marathon report, Narendra Modi as Prime Minister is equally coach and captain to Team India. We have to do it. We are doing it. But what are we doing? Now, a famous native of our land, Kautilya, tells us, and I quote, "Before you start for some work, always ask yourself 3 questions. Why am I doing it? What the results might be? And will I be successful? Think deeply, find satisfactory answers, and then proceed." He also tells us that one who cannot determine their goals cannot win. So do we now have clear goals, clear action plans, and are we being successful? What you're about to experience is not a TV telecast, it's a 10-hour deep dive on how India has changed and is changing at an unimaginable pace. You have to, I repeat, see it to believe it. So that is why we are here. We start this NewsX Vikas Report Marathon with the quintessential physicality that binds us, our roads. Someone said all roads lead to Rome. Now, the roads are leading to a new India. Now, a year ago, I had to take my parents and drive myself to Haridwar. We were still in the sort of confusion of which lockdown or which pandemic wave was ending. So we got into our cars, and I live in South Delhi. And at the point when you go into UP just past Ghaziabad, I ended up on an expressway which I didn't recognize. It was just newly built. And I'm driving, and suddenly the signboard says, I've reached Meerut in about 40 minutes. If you live in North India, something unimaginable. A few months ago, left my house heading towards Shimla. Driving, and suddenly 2.5 hours later, I had to stop the car for a red light. And as I was stopped at that red light, I thought for myself for a second that from my house in South Delhi, the first red light was in Karnal. I drove from my house to Karnal without even coming across a traffic intersection to stop me. Something dramatic has happened in India. So I mentioned the Meerut Expressway. My colleague Mahima, and if you haven't travelled on this road, here's a chance to experience it. My colleague Mahima files the report. Let's listen in.
The Delhi-Meerut Expressway is India's widest 96-kilometer long controlled access expressway connecting Delhi with Meerut. The project's foundation stone was laid on December 30th, 2015, and the fourth and the last section was completed and opened for public on 1st April 2021. My colleague Mahima travelled through the highway filing these reports.
Let us tell you that the pace of development did not stop here in the country. Due to Prime Minister's fervent wish and diligent effort, that people have also got the gift of highways like Bundelkhand Expressway and Purvanchal Expressway in Uttar Pradesh in the recent years, due to which people are getting world-class feel of the movement and connectivity from one city to another. Apart from this, efforts have been made on a large scale to make the roads from highways to villages and cities high class. This is the very expressway we showed you while we were in the car, that how it was so smooth for us to, move from Delhi, or I would say the national capital, to Meerut, and here we are standing on the expressway. It is magnificent, beautiful. We have the greenery on the left hand side, we have the greenery on the right hand side, and we are in the middle of the highway. Beautifully made. What a dream to make India a high class, to make India a new India. This is Prime Minister's New India. The very expressway we have been telling. What an achievement, what an idea. The idea that made difference to the lives of people of this country. Efforts have been made on a large scale to make roads from highways to villages and cities high class. So you can clearly see that with the Prime Minister's effort, people are getting a world-class feel for the movement here. This is the very expressway that we people have been showing you, the fervent wish, a dream by our prime leader, that is our very own Prime Minister Narendra Modi, which came true. It was laid down, the foundation was laid down back in 2015, and today we have this beautiful expressway making the life of people simplified. It has simplified their time, it has simplified a way of connectivity from one state to another with a very smooth movement. It is very smooth to travel from national capital to Meerut. Earlier it was really difficult, it was a back-breaking task. It was a back-breaking job when somebody used to even imagine that they had to travel from the national capital to Meerut in Uttar Pradesh. But now with the expressway or the other highways also doing the connectivity round the clock have made it very easy for the people of our country to transit themselves from one state to another.
It's a very huge reduced to time, and road quality is very good and very good service.
पहले एक्चुअली क्या होता था कि हमें टोल पे वो फैसिलिटीज़ नहीं मिलती थी, जो कि पब्लिक टॉयलेट हो गया, पैरामेडिकल हो गया, ब्रेक डाउन के लिए क्रेन्स वगैरह अवेलेबल हो गई हैं। बूथ पे आजकल क्लीनिंग दिख रही है, लाइन पे डस्टबिन अवेलेबल है। तो यानी मोदी जी का एक स्वच्छ भारत की तरफ ये जो कदम है, तहे दिल से हम इसका मुबारकबाद करते हैं।
पहले जो था बहुत मुश्किल पड़ती थी, मतलब रोड में गड्ढे, पर इसमें ऐसा कुछ नहीं है।
कोई भी रास्ते में जैसे फैसिलिटियां हैं, मोदी जी ने जो बोला था कि सबका सपना पूरा करने के लिए फायर ब्रिगेड वगैरह जैसी एम्बुलेंस और क्रेन वगैरह सारी चीज़ें उपलब्ध होती हैं।
The 96-kilometer long marvelous highway, which has reduced the travel time between Delhi and Meerut to just 45 minutes, has been a boon to commuters, travelers, as well as commercial vehicles. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Okay, so Mahima has tried her best to get you a flavor of this, but all it's a flavor. You have to hit these roads and experience them for yourself. You know, there are certain sections, ladies and gentlemen, of this highway, okay, in which the speed limit is 120. I've grown up in this country. I've never experienced something like that before. We're looking at the speed limit. You're constantly saying the speed limit will be 70, 80 as it used to be in the highways, and then it says 100, 120 is the speed limit. And you can drive at the speed limit because the barricades are good, okay? You don't have somebody crossing the road to do Soch on the side with a lota, because the toilets for them have been built, and I'm going to come to that in the next telecast. So this was a sampling. I want to take one more, okay? We've done 5 of them, just to give you a sampling of what is happening in your country, okay? If you haven't experienced it for yourself. Let's hop across now a few hundred kilometers to the east. This is Varanasi, and my colleague is filing this report of a new highway that's being built connecting the city to the nearest airport. Listen to this.
The Kashi Airport Highway runs between Varanasi city and the Lal Bahadur Shastri Airport in Babatpur and is 17.25 kilometers long. The project on NH56 was built at the cost of 812 crore and connects the airport to the city and goes on to link it with Jaunpur, Sultanpur and Lucknow as well. My colleague Pankaj Chaturvedi travelled through the highway and filed these reports.
हम इस समय फ्लाईओवर पे हैं। ये फ्लाईओवर आपको बता दूं कि बाबतपुर एयरपोर्ट जाने वाले मार्ग पे पड़ता है, और हमारे दाहिने तरफ आप देख सकते हैं ये रिंग रोड है, जिसकी जो है आधारशिला प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी द्वारा रखी गई थी, और उसका लोकार्पण भी, समर्पण भी प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी ने किया था। बनारस की जनता को, पूर्वांचल की जनता को जो है समर्पित किया था। आपको बता दूं ये सड़कें ये जो रिंग रोड है, ये आजमगढ़, जौनपुर, गाजीपुर समेत कई जो है पूर्वांचल के जिलों को जोड़ती है। तो ये सब जो बयार बह रही है, ये 2014 के विकास की जो बयार है, वो 2014 के बाद से देखने को मिल रही है, जब काशी के सांसद के रूप में नरेंद्र दामोदर दास मोदी को चुना गया। उसके बाद वो देश के प्रधानमंत्री और बने, और उसके बाद बनारस का चहुं ओर विकास ही विकास दिख रहा है, और बनारस में विकास की बयार बह रही है। हम इस समय चल रहे हैं एयरपोर्ट रोड पे। आपको बता दें कि ये एयरपोर्ट गिलट बाजार से शुरू हो रहा है और ये बाबतपुर तक जाएगा, जो कि दूरी लगभग हम बात करें तो लगभग 20 किलोमीटर की दूरी है। और ये जो फ्लाईओवर, कई सारे इसके बीच में, एयरपोर्ट के बीच में कई फ्लाईओवर बने हुए हैं, और इतनी चिकनी सड़कें हैं कि आप चलेंगे पता ही नहीं चलेगा। ग्लास का पानी रख दें तो आप चलते जाएंगे, पानी कहीं नहीं छलकेगा। आप देख सकते हैं ये एयरपोर्ट रोड पे हम चल रहे हैं और ये फ्लाईओवर के ऊपर हम चल रहे हैं। उधर से जो है डाउन पे, उधर से जो ट्रैफिक आ रही है उसके लिए, और इधर से जो एयरपोर्ट की तरफ लोग चल रहे हैं जो, उसके लिए ये रोड बनी है। और ये सब 2014 के बाद हुआ है, जब प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी यहाँ से जो सांसद चुने गए और उसके बाद देश के प्रधानमंत्री बने। 2014 के बाद बनारस में जो विकास की बयार बह रही है वो देखने लायक है।
2014 के पहले जब काशी में कोई मुख्यालय से आता था एयरपोर्ट, तो कम से कम घंटों लगते थे। जब से मोदी जी यहाँ के सांसद हैं सड़कें एकदम जगमगा रही हैं और यहाँ पर 20 मिनट के अंदर हम लोग मुख्यालय से बाबतपुर एयरपोर्ट आते हैं।
इस देश के प्रधानमंत्री यशस्वी मोदी जी, यशस्वी मुख्यमंत्री जी, जब से सरकारें चल रही हैं, इस देश का गरीब से गरीब जनता, गांव में रहने वाला व्यक्ति जो झुग्गी झोपड़ियों में रहता था, आज वो अपने को महसूस कर रहा है कि मैं अपने मकान में रहता हूँ, अपने शौचालय में जाता हूँ।
मोदी जी के विजन के अनुसार, चौमुखी विकास के अनुसार, डबल इंजन हमारी सरकार के अनुसार इतना ज़्यादा विकास हो रहा है कि अब आने में मात्र जिला मुख्यालय से एयरपोर्ट आने में मात्र 20 मिनट का समय लगता है, और वो फ्लाइट जिसकी टाइम टू टाइम फ्लाइट अपनी अटेंड करता है, उसको पहले आके लाउंज में अपना वेट नहीं करना पड़ता है।
The highway, the foundation stone for which was laid by the PM himself, has significantly reduced the travel time from Varanasi to the airport, providing a big relief to the people of the holy city as well as tourists. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Like I said, you have to experience it to believe it. PM Modi can tell you in his speeches, the road ministry under Gadkari can publish their reports and say this record and this record, but this is for the people. And I promise you, there will be very few amongst all of you who will be able to go away from our 10-hour marathon today not feeling energized, not feeling excited. Doesn't make a difference what your politics is, about where India is going as purpose. Okay, joining us on the broadcast, we have more reports and I'm going to show you more glimpses. We're not done yet, but joining us on the broadcast, Abhijit Sinha, he's project director of the National Highways for Electric Vehicles. Vivek Sharma, he's an engineer and a construction expert. Atul Gupta, who's an economist, and Major General Rajan Kochar are joining us on the broadcast. Let me start with you, Mrs. Sinha. You know, having lived in this country, I'm assuming for a large part of your life as well, have you experienced some of these roads that have changed? Have your journeys have they been impacted with the core thing of just tarmac building?
I think in India, the kind of head-on and the kind of competition which we have taken with international community.
Okay, let me put the same question to Vivek Sharma while my PCR crew figures it out. They have plenty of time to figure this out. Vivek ji, has your life changed, sir? Have you seen it? Have you experienced some of these new roads?
Fortunate enough to be in this program where you're talking about a highway which connects Varanasi to my village. Now, I am a native of Azamgarh. Your reporter mentioned the name of Azamgarh while he was filing the report. Previously, we used to take the morning flight from Bombay to Varanasi, because from Varanasi to my village it used to take about 8 to 9 hours. So our objective used to be land in the Varanasi city by about 8 or 9 o'clock, so that you can reach your village before the night falls, because it was too risky to travel after night. It was not safe. And I went the same way. We landed in Kashi at about 8:30, and then the taxi driver told us it will take about 2 hours to your village. I was surprised. I didn't know about this highway having been come up, because it was not there in the news. And in 2 to 2.5 hours, I was there at my village. And this was a place where we used to spend about close to 8 hours traveling that stretch. So I have lived that life. I have experienced it myself. And the surprising thing, I mean, travel time reduction is not the only part of it. The most impressive part of it is I had taken a lift in a car which used to deliver bakery goods on the return journey from Azamgarh to Kashi. And how is it possible that a bakery which was about 8 hours drive from Varanasi could deliver to Varanasi and could sell its products in Varanasi, because bakery products would get spoiled? So this is what he told me. Now paneer comes from that place. A lot of other agro commodities come from that place. Because the travel time has reduced, now people can produce in Azamgarh and sell in Varanasi. So this is how the lives have been impacted. This is my own personal experience from my own native place.
Let me get Mr. Gupta into this. Mr. Gupta, why don't you? And I've been sharing some personal experiences. You know, I can't explain to you. I've seen, I mean, India long enough. Okay, I was born in the 1980s. There are a new generation. That realization of a new generation of people who now take this for granted, okay, on how much India has changed. My house in the national capital, to stop at the first red light in Karnal, I mean, generally you took out and you were in red light, and everything is highways, is over bridges, is changed dramatically, sir. And I'm not saying it's all happened in the past 10 years, but the pace of which is happening is completely different now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you that if you will travel from South Delhi to Karnal, it will be the first red light. Even if you will pass out the Karnal also, there will not be any red light even up to Ambala or other places.
Correct.
So I agree with you, and there is a economic value of all these developments which is happening over a last few years, specifically in the last decade. And I can share you many other benefits which are the country is getting because of this development of the highways and the connected road. That has a economical aspect as well. So if you have the time, I will just touch upon.
Please, quickly through this and have some more ground reports.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for you, sir. Yes.
Yeah. So should I continue?
Yes, I've said three times yes, sir. Please.
Yeah, please. So the first one, you will agree with me that the cost of transportation, because the highways has the two aspects. One is that, okay, the normal commuter is going, say for example, you are going for your personal work from Delhi to Karnal, but otherwise for the economic perspective, the cost of transportation got drastically reduced, and that facilitate the industry. Because earlier you are taking a lot of time, as the Vivek ji mentioned, that you have to travel for 8 hours to reach to Azamgarh. But tomorrow or today, if you have to go to Azamgarh and it will taking 2 hours only, that reduce the cost of the petrol, the diesel, and even I will say the wear and tear of the vehicles as well. Another aspect which is also having the economic value is about the storage cost. Because if you have the less time to transport your goods, the perishable goods from one place to another place, you will require the less storage cost and the economic order quantity. Because say for example, you are aware that, okay, it will take 3 days to reach a goods to your place. You will always have more the stocks keeping yourself into your working capital. But now you are aware that, okay, the goods can be transmitted, the raw material can be ordered and it will be delivered in few hours only. Certainly it will reduce your cost of capital, the working capital blockage, and so and so. So practically I will say that including this cost of transportation, the speed, the storage cost, the economic order quantity, it actually brings the economic
so the ancillary benefits. Now we know this. I mean, FDR came up with road building to pull out his country of the Great Depression in the early 1930s. Road building changes the future of nations, and the future of this country is changing. Mr. Sinha is back with us. Mr. Sinha, sorry we lost you for a second. Finish your thought, sir.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. Please, go ahead.
So you have quoted a couple of very progressive highways, and I think this is the right place where you can know that Delhi, Jaipur and Delhi, Chandigarh and Delhi, Haridwar, the Dehradun highway, they have already started electric buses trials also, and Delhi Jaipur trial has already been completed. So there are a couple of things which people might know, because these are technical trials. Soon you will be able to ply on these highways with buses and electric cars, and both of them they are currently working. Plus one thing which is not there around the globe anywhere is, if you shut down with the electric vehicle on these highway, this e-highway, then without any call, without asking for any help, you get a backup, technical backup within 30 minutes. Not only this, but also repair and then ambulances and tow away vehicle, because these all are getting geo-fenced. So out of the context which we discussed today, the 2 lakh highways, 2 lakh kilometer highways which we had to intend by 2025, 5,000 kilometers of such e-highways are coming in India, and 500 kilometer trial has already been completed.
That's the next phase. But Mr. Sinha, let me ask you a very human question, sir. Have you experienced these highways for yourself? What is the human emotion here for people thinking, really looking out of the windows and thinking, is this really India?
I think very important question you've asked. People have human emotion, and they are very, very concerned about the safety. You must have seen that there is a very unfortunate accident happened few days before, and after some time there were media reports that how that accident happened, the cricketer who got injured, badly injured into that, the video came out. These are the requirement that people have, that is road safety is the most important part which people look at it. Ambulance should be there, a tow away vehicle should be there, cameras should be there on the blind spots, and the safety related upgradation of road.
Okay, Mr. Sinha, I know you are adamant on taking me to the technicalities and you're raising very serious questions, but I'm going to just make this as human a telecast as possible, and let me get General Kochhar into this. General Kochhar, I know the road building and how wide they are, and how important they are, and how fast, and the economic consequences. I'm going to appeal to you just for as a citizen, sir. The first time experience of just turning your car onto the road, and it looks like an airstrip, and before you know it, you've covered hundreds of kilometers. Just the human experience. Have you traveled on any of these roads, sir, where you just felt that I can't believe I'm in India?
So, Rishabh, if you give me an opportunity, first I would like to share my own experiences on this highway. And secondly, I would like to focus your attention onto the development of the border roads. Because that area.
I come to the border roads, sir. I mean, we've had several other telecasts on the border roads, as you're well aware, on the Trans-Arunachal road. We've had several telecasts. So I'm trying to focus here on what the roads the people are using every day. I just want to listen to your experiences, if I can, sir.
Okay, my experiences on 3 of the highways I will narrate to you, because I was posted in Lucknow, I was posted in Meerut, and I have travelled on the Karnal stretch up to Chandi. So my first experience is on the Lucknow expressway, which has actually come. While going on this expressway, earlier it used to take almost, Lucknow used to take almost about 10 to 11 hours. Now it takes less than 6 hours. The second aspect is there are stretches on this highway, because I am a military man, so I would apply my military mind onto this highway. There are stretches on this highway which can be used for landing of the fighter jets. This is a new concept, a new kind of a contingency plan which is available to the government today by constructing such concrete stretches. Because these concrete
forget fighter jets, sir. I think one of them they landed a Hercules. And that's how they inaugurated the road. So I know that there is utility, but that speaks of the size and scale of the building exercise. When I say it looks like a runway, it is actually pretty much a runway.
Yes, and the second aspect is the kind of infrastructure which is coming up on this highway, and the kind of development of real estate, which was not happening earlier. But today, if you see, by virtue of this connectivity, we are generating employment. We are generating an infrastructure, because tomorrow this defense industries are coming up in Amethi and all these areas. And therefore, people who are coming from outside, wanting to invest in our country, when they see this kind of infrastructure, it is a revelation for them, because they never have actually associated India, the new India, as you
it's an eye opener, sir. Forget foreigners. It's a revelation for us Indians. It is that this is. I'm actually traveling in my own country. It's an experience. Okay, just hold your thought, gentlemen. Let's hop across. We've been to Meerut, we've been to Kashi. Let's hop across. This is the Purvachal Expressway. And one of my colleagues has been traveling around this. Again, you have to see it to believe it. Listen in.
The Purvachal Expressway is a 340-kilometer long, 6-lane access-controlled expressway in the state of Uttar Pradesh, which connects Lucknow and Ghazipur districts in the state. The project was announced in May 2015, and its foundation stone was laid on July 2018 by PM Modi. My colleague Abhishek Mishra filed these reports from the expressway.
पूर्वांचल एक्सप्रेसवे पर आपका स्वागत है। ये स्वागत कोई और नहीं बल्कि उत्तर प्रदेश की योगी सरकार कर रही है। 2014 के बाद से जब से देश में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार बनी, तो वहीं उत्तर प्रदेश में जहां योगी आदित्यनाथ की सरकार बनी, एक के बाद एक नए नए एक्सप्रेसवे देने का काम किया गया। यही नहीं, पूरे देश में उत्तर प्रदेश ही एक ऐसी जगह है जहां पर 5 एक्सप्रेसवे काम कर रहे हैं। चाहे गंगा एक्सप्रेसवे हो, बुंदेलखंड एक्सप्रेसवे हो, या फिर पूर्वांचल एक्सप्रेसवे हो, या फिर आगरा लखनऊ एक्सप्रेसवे हो, इस तरह के तमाम एक्सप्रेसवे लगातार काम कर रहे हैं। और ये एक्सप्रेसवे जिस पर आज हम खड़े हुए हैं, ये है पूर्वांचल एक्सप्रेसवे, जो कि सरकार के लिए सिग्नेचर एक्सप्रेसवे के तौर पर जाना जाता है, जिसकी क्वालिटी ही है और बेहद ही कम समय में इस एक्सप्रेसवे को बनाया गया और आम जनता को एक बेहतरीन सौगात दी गई। पूर्वांचल एक्सप्रेस वे की क्वालिटी का पता इस बात से चलता है कि हम काफ़ी दूर तक यहाँ पर सफ़र करते हुए आ चुके हैं, बावजूद उसके कहीं भी टर्बुलेंस नहीं है, कहीं भी कोई गड्ढा नहीं है। यानी कि एक स्मूथ ड्राइव अगर आप चाहते हैं तो पूर्वांचल एक्सप्रेस वे आपका लगातार स्वागत करेगा। क्योंकि जब से देश में 2014 में प्रधानमंत्री नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार बनी और उसके बाद प्रदेश में योगी आदित्यनाथ की सरकार बनी, उसके बाद से एक के बाद एक एक्सप्रेसवे की शुरुआत होती हुई नज़र आ रही है। लेकिन ये एक्सप्रेसवे वो एक्सप्रेसवे हैं जो कि एक बड़ा जंजाल बनाता है, एक बड़ा कंक्रीट का जाल बनाता है और कनेक्टिविटी को सुगम और बेहतरीन बनाने की कोशिश करता है, जिसके ज़रिए लोग अपने गंतव्य पर जाते हैं और गंतव्य पर वापस आते हैं। यानी कि सीधी सी बात है, एक बेहतरीन और एक सुखद अनुभव अगर आपको एक्सप्रेसवे पर करना है तो आपका उत्तर प्रदेश में स्वागत है, क्योंकि उत्तर प्रदेश आपके 5 बेहतरीन एक्सप्रेसवे के साथ आपका स्वागत करता है।
The project was inaugurated with PM Modi arriving in a C-130 Hercules on the site. It has been a boon for the people of Eastern UP, effectively reducing the travel time by hours together. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Yeah, so that's the road right there in which the Air Force landed the Hercules, okay, to do the inauguration. There have been several others, as the general has been pointing out, to where they've been landing planes. Now, the ancillary value for defense is separate. The real value for the lives of people change. Now, Vivek ji, let me bring you back into this telecast. On just the feeling at this point of time of what it is that is changing. Now, there's an economic change, there is a practical change, there's a transport change, there's a every person being affected change. But are you getting a feeling now, perception, that this is not just one-off, one example, that this is now becoming a trend and this will become ubiquitous soon? Many roads and thousands of kilometers will look like this and it won't be anything special anymore.
Am I audible to you?
Yes.
Yeah. Now, what we are witnessing is basically a revolution of sorts. I can tell you because I have the personal experience of starting out as a junior engineer. We were building the Indore-Bhusawal 246 kilometer expressway, which took us about 3.5 years to build 246 kilometers. Now compare that with the speed of building about 29 to 30 kilometers in a day. And that 246 kilometers too, we used to build with about close to 25,000 people working. The transition shift that is taking place, I'll give you an example. The biggest pavers, there's a class of machines called a paver which is used for building roads. The biggest pavers we had at that time were around 2 to 2.5 meters wide. Now we are going ahead with 26-meter pavers. Imagine the reduction it brings in the cost of road building. Imagine the reduction in the labor turnover and the speed with which it can be done. Mr. Gadkari has come up with another novel idea. All along the highways of National Highways Authority of India, the farmers who own lands on the periphery of these expressways can convert them to non-agricultural lands without any red tape, without any permission from the collector of the adjoining district or whatever. The scheme is that any land parcel which is on the highway is automatically eligible to become non-agricultural. And you know how much red tapeism is there in converting agricultural to any status. So the farmer can immediately come up with a hotel, come up with a petrol pump, or come up with whatever he wants without going through the entire red tape of the bureaucracy. That is the magnificent benefit which the people from whose land the highway passes brings to.
Okay.
Another example I'll give you: farmers of Nagpur are exporting oranges to Bangladesh. Now, previously there was a demand in Bangladesh, but it could not be exported because the oranges had to be bought all the way to Bombay, and from Bombay they would go in train to Bangladesh. The time taken in transit was too much, and the oranges would get spoiled. Now, because they can straight away, there is a highway which connects Nagpur via Chhattisgarh to Bangladesh. They can export oranges to Bangladesh. So these are the sort of changes that are being brought in.
Okay.
But these are not the only ones. The industry has taken off in a big way. The cement companies are doing well. The paver block companies are doing well. Technologies are changing. You would be surprised that we are building steel roads in India now.
Yeah, to the next level. So let me get Mr. Gupta into this before I come back to the general and Mr. Sinha. Mr. Gupta, now you know that we've just got an experience, just flavor, okay, and you were already mentioning how immediately the road starts seeing salutary economic consequences. Now, in your best guess of estimation, for the people living in the locality, the people who have access to the highways, you know, of course you can build a restaurant, you can build a hotel, industry can come up, industrial parks can come up. How much of an economic impact can this actually have?
I believe I am audible. So certainly when you talk about the economic benefits, how the industry will get the benefit because of the development of the highways, that the restaurants or the industrial park, there will be certainly the economic value, and you can see the growth in the GDP. There is a very, very important contribution of the development of the infrastructure, whether it may be the highways or it may be the any other infrastructure in the country, and that have a direct impact on the economic development vis-a-vis GDP. But the only concern which I carry when we are all speaking, my apology, but the point is that when we develop the things around the highways, so what will happen, you will agree with me that if you will go from Delhi to Amritsar today, earlier the Ludhiana and other all the stretches were having the super highways, they were being all developed like this, but now you will find them that they become a local road, because there is a lot of development which is being approved along with the highways,
yes,
and which makes them actually the normal road as we witnessed 20 years back or 30 years back.
You know, Mr. Gupta, I've experienced this near Ghaziabad, which is technically in UP, but you know, falls right next to Delhi. So now there is a 10-lane highway, and there are 10 lanes further of parallel roads which meant to serve as local roads. So it is 20 lanes going through an artery. It is again an unbelievable experience, because the local road, which is also 5 lanes, has been made separately. So you're right, there are further challenges to go, but when it comes to local development for the people who otherwise have been disconnected, how does a highway that brings you from A to B super fast? For example, you know, there used to be a time when one side of Delhi to the other side of Delhi used to be 45 minutes. Now Delhi to Meerut is 45 minutes. How does this change the property values, the aspects of living in Meerut in the future, sir?
Certainly, there will be a lot of appreciations, and the economic developments will be there, because I was just trying to mention on my earlier answer that helps in reducing the pollution level also, because there will be lack of concentration in the main cities. Today, everybody was looking for a Delhi or say, for example, the Noida and Ghaziabad to live, even if they are actually belongs to Meerut, because that was taking 3 hours to come to from Meerut to Delhi. Now, if you will be able to go in 45 minutes from Delhi to Meerut, certainly they will prefer to stay back in the Meerut and come on a daily basis. Maybe the public transport or maybe the like a personal transport.
No, and perhaps more importantly, you know, it's because big cities become unaffordable. I mean, look at rents in Mumbai, for example, is very difficult. Rents in Delhi are difficult, right? I mean, if your job is here and if you have to shift, it's a major headache, and you know, then this has a salutary effect across the board. And who benefits? The people benefit. Let me get finish your thoughts, so then I want to get Mr. Sinha back in. Yes.
So, and that helps in the economic development at the Meerut as well. So, because once you will be staying back in the Meerut, they are properly, because ultimately what will happen, say for example, today the NRIs are there, they are repatriating the money to India, and then the India is developing the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, and then getting developed. Same way, if you are coming from Meerut for your livelihood, you are going back to your Meerut and then you are spending the money over there. That gives a lot of positive impact to the economy of the Meerut as well.
Okay,
For
all right.
in example.
Okay. So let me get Ms. Sinha back into what he was originally trying to address. Mrs. Sinha, this is where things stand. Okay, now paint us a picture of the future, sir.
I think India is very well ahead of a couple of countries who have made very good type of highways. Germany is one of them, and Germany's Autobahn and India's NHAI. If you look at their comparison, India's way of making highways, 22 crore rupees per kilometer, the way you said 10 lanes and then 10 lanes ahead into service lane. These all 1 kilometer cost around 22 crore, and if you add up couple of more things like cameras and sensors and other things to make life easy and sensible, these highways has to be geo-fenced also so that vehicles can be tracked. How all these technologies that we spend per kilometer converts into economy? That's the question I think you were trying to understand, and we are trying to fill in. Amount which we spend on a pricing of a product which has to go outside India, it has to be exported, is not only the price of the product. It also includes the freight price and the logistic price. That is why India has a cutthroat competition with China. China's infrastructure and India infrastructures comes and play very important role when it comes to exporting product. So each part of our country, wherever, I think somebody has spoken about it before me, that some point where the manufacturing is happening and some point where the shipping or the export has to happen, if these are connected, then the cost of freight and logistic goes down. That's number one. It brings the price of the export. It makes us as a country more competitive into international market. And second, when you look at the deficit and the appreciation, महंगाई and other things which we keep on talking about, these all are indicated from the cities, from the main cities, not from the rural areas.
Yes.
And into main cities, the most of the material which comes from the other cities and outside. The kind of roads which now has been built and it is now being built, it is bringing the continuous reduction into the logistic and freight costs.
No, absolutely, and it's happening all across the country because we've done the ground reports in 5 places, but we are running representative images. Let's get back them on screens. Bengaluru Chennai, the expressway is being built. Delhi Bombay, of course, I'm going to show you a report very shortly. All the way till Katra, which will go through all of Jammu, an expressway is being built. Then we mentioned the Bundelkhand expressway already, which is being constructed. In Jamnagar, you can keep counting this, and when we are saying 40 kilometers a day, it's not 40 kilometers, of course, in one expressway. Across the board, we are completing 40 kilometers a day. Just do the maths. Okay? Just do the maths. That means you're doing 4,000 kilometers, which is being constructed at a 3-month basis. Over the course of a year, you're building 10,000 kilometers a year. Okay? And I'm not including the other things which are the railways. We'll come to railways later. There's a Meerut RRTS that's also being built, almost ready, which provides an alternative. You don't even have to drive anymore. It's quite remarkable. Let me quickly get the general back into this conversation. The general, just on the understanding that India's heft and might doesn't come from our tanks and guns alone. It comes from our people and their ability to develop a positively changing economy. Do you see a critical mass in all of this, sir? This is not just one road, one place. This is all over the country, every place.
Absolutely, Rishabh. Critical mass is felt because if you go through the statistics today, 85% of the passenger traffic is through roads and 70% of the goods traffic is through roads. So if you take this for the economy of a country, the kind of supply chains which are going to be built up are being built up. And one more aspect I would like to add here. Before any war takes place, mobilization of the armed forces takes place, and most of the army is in the hinterland. And we have to move from our peace stations to the border areas. And this movement is largely carried on by rail or road. And if we have this kind of infrastructure available in the country today, earlier I used to calculate 96 hours for a formation to move from Meerut to the Rajasthan border. Now I can do it in 24 hours, 36 hours. So you can see the impact, the operational impact of this actually happening.
Okay, okay. So it's a nationwide impact. Sorry to interrupt you now. We're short on time. I still have two reports to take. The other massive project, which was part of the original Golden Quadrilateral, which is now being expedited, is linking Delhi to Mumbai. Now the goal is that within a couple of years, you should be able to do Delhi-Mumbai in 12 hours. Okay, which is the safe journey. Driving beyond 12 hours for any individual is not recommended, which means you can do Delhi-Mumbai. Okay, it's a 2.5 hour flight by plane. Okay, plus add another 2-3 hours to go to the airport and check in and all that. Okay, so this is what is possible. Okay, now it's not complete yet, but sections of it certainly are complete. One of my colleagues filing this report. Listen in.
The Delhi-Mumbai highway, which is popularly known as NH8 as per the old numbering, runs between the national capital Delhi and the financial hub Mumbai. It is one of the busiest highways in the subcontinent and passes through many important cities such as Gurgaon, Jaipur, Ahmedabad, Udaipur and Surat. My colleague Vrushali Kadam filed a report from the Western Express section of the highway near Mumbai. Let's have a look.
We are currently at the Western Express highway which connects Mumbai to Delhi via Gujarat. We'll head forward. मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप गाड़ी को आगे ले लें. We'll request our driver to start this journey. We are heading on this Western Express highway which connects Mumbai to Delhi. We'll ask here people, the commuters, about what they feel about these highways that that are playing a vital role in overall growth of this country. Let's hear them out. ये जो रोड्स हाईवेज बनाए हैं मोदी जी ने, आपको लगता है
बहुत अच्छे बने एंड दे आर वेरी गुड, बेटर देन महाराष्ट्र रोड्स.
नहीं, पर आपको लगता है कि ये जो रोड्स हाईवेज जो बनते हैं वो समृद्धि लेके आते हैं?
100%. इट सेव पेट्रोल, इट सेव टाइम.
बहुत अच्छा देखता हूँ, उसको फ्यूल बचेगा, ट्रैफिक का प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व हो जाएगा.
मोदी जो ये कर रहे हैं
बहुत अच्छा करे. मोदी के लिए जन्मोजन्मी के लिए काम कर रहे हो, वो के फ्यूचर के लिए कुछ टेंशन ही नहीं सबके लिए.
काफ़ी समय की बचत होगी क्योंकि जहाँ तक सुनने में आया है कि 12 घंटे में ही आप दिल्ली पहुँच सकते हैं. तो और इंडिया प्रगति कर रहा है.
मुंबई दिल्ली हाईवे बनने से और ज़्यादा फायदा होगा, पब्लिक को ज़्यादा मतलब ये यूज़ करने के लिए अच्छा होगा.
So as you have seen that how people are saying that how they are eagerly waiting for Mumbai-Delhi express highway, the corridor which is still underway, and people are saying that these kind of highways that are coming up in a different pockets of country are really helpful. They are they are saving fuel, time and everything, and people are very much happy with the progress of country in terms of roads and highway.
The highway is a part of the Golden Quadrilateral project of the NHAI. The highway is set for yet another upgrade which is underworks as part of the ambitious 1 lakh crore Delhi-Mumbai Expressway project, the work for which began in 2019. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Now this is also being envisioned, as we were discussing, as an industrial corridor. I mean, once you build the road, ancillary facilities, power lines, data lines, all of this can come your way. Now, these are all roads which which most of you would have heard about, Delhi-Mumbai for sure, right? Now, here is a road that, unless I was doing research for this story, I had not heard about. You got to watch this report, okay? This is in Haryana. Have a look at this.
The Trans-Haryana Expressway, or NH 152D, is a 227 km long, 6-lane wide, access-controlled highway connecting the cities of Ambala and Narnaul in Haryana. The 5,108 crore project has come as a relief to the commuters connecting major cities in Haryana, as well as further connectivity to cities in Rajasthan and Maharashtra as well. My colleague Sakshi Sharma filed this report from the expressway. Let's have a look.
आम जन के सफर को और यात्रा को ज्यादा से ज्यादा सुगम बनाने के लिए मोदी सरकार लगातार प्रतिबद्ध है और इसी का एक नमूना हमें हरियाणा में देखने को मिलता है, जो कि NH 152D है। जी हाँ, आपको बता दें कि पीएम गति शक्ति प्रोजेक्ट के मल्टी डायमेंशनल विजन के अंतर्गत NH 152D को NHAI नेशनल हाईवे अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया के द्वारा बनाया और लगभग 9,000 करोड़ की लागत से इस पूरे NH 152D को बनाया गया है। और इससे चंडीगढ़ से दिल्ली की बात करें या जयपुर की बात करें, ये जो कनेक्टिविटी है ये लोगों के लिए बहुत ज़्यादा आसान हो गई है। तो चलिए आज हम इसी NH 152D का सफ़र करेंगे और आपको बताएंगे कि क्या इस NH 152D का जो ग्रीन फील्ड कॉरिडोर है इसकी खासियत है, किस माइंडसेट से और क्या कंसेप्ट के साथ इसे डेवलप किया गया है, कौन से जिलों को यह कवर करता है, इसकी पूरी संरचना किस तरह की है, इसके बारे में तमाम डिटेल में इस पर सफर करते हुए आपको आज जानकारी देंगे। भारतमाला प्रोजेक्ट के अंतर्गत बनाया गया ये NH 152D अंबाला से कोटपुतली, जो कि जयपुर हाईवे पे कनेक्ट करता है, उस तक ट्रैवल करने के लिए सबसे फास्टेस्ट और सेफेस्ट रूट जो है वो अब तक का बताया जा रहा है। जिस तरह की आप देख सकते हैं कि ये लोगों के लिए, आम पब्लिक के मूवमेंट के लिए तो पूरी तरह से खोल दिया गया है। गाड़ियां जो हैं वो इस पर पूरी अपनी रफ्तार के साथ जो है दौड़ती हुई नजर आ रही हैं, लेकिन अभी दोनों तरफ इस 152D की तरफ जो पौधारोपण का काम है वो अभी बाकी है। करीब 1 लाख पौधे जो हैं वो 152D के दोनों तरफ जो है वो लगाए जाने। इसी के साथ आपको ये भी बता दें कि अहेड ऑफ टाइम, यानी कि बहुत जल्दी जो इसकी समय सीमा निर्धारित की गई थी, 2018 में इसकी घोषणा हुई, 2020 में इसका शिलान्यास हुआ और अब इस पर गाड़ियां जो है वो रफ्तार के साथ दौड़ती हुई भी नजर आ रही हैं। इस्माइलाबाद से अगर नारनौल तक की बात करें तो ये हरियाणा के 8 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स को कनेक्ट करता है और करीब 1988 हेक्टेयर, जो कि 112 विलेजेस की लैंड है, वो इस NH के लिए एक्वायर जो है वो की गई थी, जिन्हें कंपेंसेशन भी दिया गया था। करीब 2756 करोड़ रुपए का जो कंपेंसेशन है वो दिया गया था। और पूरे हरियाणा से, साउथ हरियाणा की अगर बात करें, जिन लोगों को भी चंडीगढ़, अंबाला या पंचकुला के लिए आना है, उनके लिए ये बहुत ही एक अच्छा रूट है, फास्टेस्ट रूट है। कई घंटों के सफर को ये रूट कम कर देता है और NH1 और NH8 की अगर बात करें तो उनका लोड भी कम हुआ है।
The project is expected to create 1,500 full-time jobs for 3 years, along with providing a major connectivity and infrastructure boost for the state of Haryana and beyond. Bureau Report, NewsX.
Okay, so at least you know Delhi, Mumbai, of course, the corridor everybody's talked about, the Kashi road, a lot of people have talked about. You got the simple Meerut, a lot of people have talked about. Okay, and experience. How many of you watching this broadcast knew about Narnaul? Guess what? Narnaul via Ambala now has access to a highway that looks like that. 6 lanes, access controlled. It's unbelievable. It literally is unbelievable. Let me get Mr. Sharma back in its comment. Mr. Sharma, as we wind down this telecast, on just the scope and magnitude of what is happening, are we being able to digest it where this becomes the new normal?
Again, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. We are surely able to digest it, but I'll give you a gist of what the other people outside India are feeling. There's a race called Ironman where you have to cycle for 182 kilometers. Now, this was not held in India previously because the organizers said there is simply no place in India where the roads are good enough for cycling for 182 kilometers. Now, this year, the first race was held in Goa. The next course is swimming. Murshidabad is a place in West Bengal which used to have a very dirty river. Now, we are slightly digressing, but it is relevant, so I'll cite it. The world's longest swimming race of 82 kilometers is now being organized in Murshidabad because people are willing to swim in that particular water, which was once upon a time so dirty that you couldn't enter it. And now these are realizations from the people outside India. They are willing to come to India and experiment with these things. You talked about Western Express Highway. I live on the Western Express Highway. Connecting is the central side of Mumbai to western side of Mumbai was about 2.5 hours. Now, because there is a peripheral road going through the route, we can travel in about 45 minutes. These are all things which are coming to us.
Life changing. I mean, your life, your career, your logic, the way you approach your day-to-day routine is changing. Let me put that same thought. Finish your thought.
I'll just take 10 more seconds if you give me just 10 more seconds. John F. Kennedy had mentioned that America is not great because of some high technology or something, but America has become great because of its great roads. Don't take it the other way around, that because America.
No, true. I'm convinced, which is why I've begun this telecast with the roads, okay, and in true understanding that this is what binds us together as a country, and this changes everything. This is not about community or area or identity or caste or creed or religion. It's a road, and it changes lives. I have seen it change mine for sure. Mr. Sinha, what's the future, sir? And are we at a critical mass?
I think you have done wonderful homework, and if we will do some mathematics here about the power line and other things which are the added advantage to road, you will be able to see its mammoth, its incredible impact on the economy. We go from Delhi to Jaipur. You have filed a very good report on Delhi to Mumbai through road into 12 hours. If you go from Delhi to Mumbai on a hired vehicle, if it is Innova, you pay around somewhere 12,500 rupees for the passenger journey. If you go by an electric car, which is under trial, which is going to be completed very soon, then you pay around 6,700 rupees from Delhi to Jaipur. If you can imagine that these patches from Delhi to Jaipur, then Udaipur and Ahmedabad, and then Surat and Mumbai, all this turned out to be on the e-highway, then the cost of passenger transport and the cost of freight and logistic, if it goes down by 30-40%, you can look at the mathematics which it will add up to the GDP.
These are life-changing mathematics.
Second,
imagine if 4 people in a car can travel from Delhi to Mumbai for less than 1,000 rupees each. These are life-changing mathematics, economy-changing, GDP-changing mathematics. Atul Gupta ji. Can we hear Mr. Gupta?
Yeah.
Go ahead, sir. We can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was just echoing the sentiments of our colleagues who are speaking very good about these all developments. That it's actually the changing, I will say the changing scenarios and bringing very good change in the overall economic development vis-a-vis the GDP. The only few things which I feel that I should be sharing with you, if you permit me, that there are things as well that we have to see how these highways will really give the benefit to the overall ecosystem. That at times you find that you talk about the Delhi to Karnal. So at times you will find that the Narela's stretch is taking a lot of time, and then actually it's going. So we have to see that the things are getting in a more time-bound manner. Though Sharma ji mentioned that now we have moved from 3 kilometer to 26 kilometers in a day, and so on. And at times you are also finding that the advanced planning at times is also very, very important.
No, but it's a total change, because road building, the primary factor used to be the land acquisition. And ever since you started paying the farmer the market rate, there hasn't been a problem. Imagine the roads that are being built. There is no demonstration, there is no protest, there is no hartal, there is no lumpen elements blocking the roads. We've managed to do all of this by embracing development which is fair and for the people. Because if you're taking a few hectares of land from a farmer, you have to compensate him. Imagine all these problems is to bog down these projects, which now don't seem like problems, technical problems, red tape problems, acquisition problems, this and that. Life-changing things are going on. I'll leave the last quick word with General Kochar. General Kochar, what is your best hope for the future as we take a break, sir?
Rishabh, I'll just be a bit of a devil's advocate, concluding your program. We are very good in making new roads, but we are very poor in maintaining these roads. And And especially, I would like to highlight the Jaipur highway expressway. And because recently I traveled on them, and there are stretches where potholes are there and the roads are very, very badly maintained.
You're right.
So, my caution here is for all the planners, you have to build this thing into your planning, because once a road has been constructed, it needs to be maintained.
It's valuable advice, and you're absolutely right about the Delhi-Jaipur road, sir. After you head past Manesar, it's a difficult journey. I would rather head north than to head west into Rajasthan at this point of time, primarily because of the roads are much easier to drive heading north. I've ended the first part of our conversation, which has been focusing on the roads. It has not just been a studio-oriented conversation. We've tried to give you an experience, and the best way to experience, we don't use these for normal commute, okay? Put 100 rupees in your FASTag, okay? Get into a car or get into a friend's car, or take a cab and just set out on the highway near you. I promise you, there are people from I know in Meerut who just come to Delhi to have an ice cream and go back just for the experience of these roads. And if you can do that in road, if you can do that in rail, if you can do that in air traffic, we'll have changed the lives of our citizens. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us in the first part of this conversation. We take a break. The second part of this conversation coming up on the other side. See you in a minute.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.